Hi friends, I have another craft for you today. Today is a quick, simple, easy craft, and we are making coasters out of wine corks. Yep, you can get those anywhere, any craft store. You can empty the bottles yourself, whatever you want to do. So somebody gave me a whole bunch of wine corks. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And I have a great Christmas craft, but it's not Christmas at the moment. And so we are going to make this one. There's all kinds of ideas out there to do with your wine corks. Some are simple, some are not so simple, but we're going to make these today. And here's two different kinds. This one uses the whole cork. You can see that. Not cut. So cute. This one uses half of the cork. I also love this. This one's harder to do, and it's because you have to cut the corks. So we're going to do this one because it's easier, and I just like it. So we're going to do this one, but I will tell you how to do this one. So first, you just need a bunch of corks. So it takes 8 to do one coaster. I don't know how many coasters you need, but to do one, it takes 8. If you were doing one that you're cutting them in half, you only need 4. Tripping over my tongue today. All right, so we're going to do this one. You need that and a glue gun. And so what you need, they do not have to match it's not going to be perfect, right? Especially if these are used corks. These are used. So they've got where you're pulling them out with the corkscrew, and they're not perfect. And that's what I love about it. So, but the ones you buy, you can get on, I don't know, you can get it on Amazon or any of your craft stores nowadays. So they've got online craft stores. Oriole Trading is a nice, inexpensive place to get craft supplies. And so anyway, how many do I have? All I need is 8. So which ones do I want to use? And I'm basically just looking for shape. They all are great. That's why I have them out in the first place. And you just need the same size. I think they come in like 2 or 3 different sizes. Just make sure you're working with the same size ones. And you can place the words, mix and match. You can make them line up. On this one, I made them line up. I don't know that you can see that. I made them line up on this one. This one I'm using different brands, so I'm not even going to worry about it. Some people like to the cork has a smaller end that goes in the bottle than the outer end. Some people like to switch them back and forth to make it more square. So again, it's your project. You do it the way you want. But what I do recommend is that you lay them down and place them where you want them in your craft. Before you start gluing, we need a glue gun for this. So I am going to, and this way, I like this pattern. You could do like 4 in a row and 4 in a row and put them together. But I like the crisscross pattern. So that's what I'm going to do. So I just put it on my workspace, put them the direction I want them to be, and then I just start picking up and gluing. So we're going to glue 2 at a time. One little strip of hot glue to the other one and hold it together. That's it. You don't need a ton. It's going to do great. You don't need to like fill in the cracks and put it at the top, but you're more than welcome to. This one, you can't even see where the glue is. That's what I'm going for. But you can have a definite top and a definite bottom. So I just put 1 strip of glue and I'm putting 2 together. But you could fill this and even make it up level. That's an awesome idea. You could fill this up with glue, level it up to the rest of your cork, and that'll be the bottom. That's awesome. So that's how this one goes. So we're doing pairs. But this is how I'm doing it. I'm just putting 1 strip of glue and hooking them together and holding them for a minute. until they connect. So these are coasters, and we want to be able to put a glass or a cup or whatever on there. And the cork, that's the best part about the cork, is it absorbs moisture. So if your glass or cup or whatever is sweating and has some moisture, or you tipped it a little bit and some of it spilt, the cork will naturally soak it up. But there are, let me see if I have one here. This is like a man-made cork. It's not really cork. It's a spongy something, which cuts great. I'm not sure how much that actually absorbs liquid or not. So if you want to actually use these coasters, you might want to go for the cork. And did you even know the cork is a tree? It's grown from a tree. You know, it's part of a tree. Cork tree, I guess. I didn't know that. I had to look it up. Google helped me out. And that it's only grown in like 2 main areas. I think it was North Africa, if I remember right, somewhere in Africa. And then over in Spain somewhere. That's interesting. Here's my last pair. So remember, we're just doing 2 at a time. I'm going around my coaster. I'm just letting it dry here. So while I'm letting it dry, let me tell you how to do this one with the half pieces of cork. You need to cut the corks. So here's how best to cut the corks that I've found, at least. It's still an effort, so it's whatever how much time you want to put into that. I think I have 2 different sizes right there. No, it's close enough. All right. Yep, that'll work. What was I saying? Oh yeah, cut the corks. You need to boil them. So you boil them in hot water. So, but as it cools, you need to cut it while it's still hot. So what I did was, I got like 3 of these big bags of corks given to me. I dumped a whole thing in a big old pot. Because I'm like, ooh, I'm going to make a bunch of these. And I did not realize at the time, now I'm going to glue the pears. So you just put a strip on one of the pears and then put them together like this. So now I'm gluing the pears together. And then I'll glue this set of 4 to that set of 4. But anyway, back to my boiling story. So I put the whole bag in this great big pot and I boiled it. And like I said earlier, these are real corks used. And so the whole place smelled like wine, so that was interesting. But then you get a serrated knife, you know, one of those knives with the little bumps on it. A serrated knife works best. One with like a big handle or something that you can really grip on, you know, like they make bread ones that primarily people use for bread. That would have been a good idea. I didn't have that. I have that at home, but I didn't have it. I was doing this at the center. And though that would have been a good idea. But the problem was I did all of them at once. And so by the time I started cutting the corks, and I had like a whole bag of that, of cut corks, they were cooling off, right? So what you would really want to do, say we're doing this project and you need 4 for the cut ones, right? You need 4 for this one. You would put the water on your stove, let it boil really good, and put all 4 of them in that we need, and let them boil for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Gets nice and plump. Any of the wine would come out. I guess it would sanitize if you're thinking you need to sanitize them. You know, lots of good properties. It makes them full and plump and pretty. So all that's great stuff. You get some tongs and you pull one out and set it down and get your knife and cut in half. Then you pull leave the other 3 in there. Then you pull the next one out and cut it. So that's a much better idea than having like 40 in your pot. That wasn't a great idea. So learn from my mistake. Now I have 2 of these. Now I'm going to glue them together. Just going to put a strip of glue, stick them together. But one other little glitch I found, which may bother you or may not because it's however you're wired, but it's very hard to get them exactly the same size. You know, I'm just trying to cut it in half, but it's very hard to get them exactly perfect. And so one is a bigger half, not exactly a half, than the other. The 2 pieces don't match exactly with me. And so I saw this one guy who made a wooden thing because he wanted his exactly the same size. So he had a piece of wood like this, and then he made a U out of a second piece of wood on top of it and made the depth of the U the size he wanted his corks to be. Like, these corks I'm using are 2 centimeters. So he made the depth of the U 1 centimeter. So then all he had to do was put his cork on it and take a really sharp, he used not an X-Acto knife, but one of those utility things that looks sort of like an X-Acto knife with a razor blade. You know, a razor blade that has a handle up to it. And he just went zip, and he could make them exactly the same. Exactly the same. But if you look at mine is not exactly the same. But it's cool. It works great. And this is how I roll. So whichever way you want to do it. Look, while I was talking, we are finished. Isn't that cute? Now I have 2. They don't look exactly the same. But so cool. Now let me tell you how to make a trivet. Those things that you put your hot plates on if you want a trivet. And several ways to do that. But if you've already got coasters, you put them together. So this is 8 and then 16. So this would be 16, but still not very big, right? Still not quite big enough to hold a pot. So what you'd probably want to do is add 2 more rows. So 8, 16, let's do 24. But we don't want to put them, lengthwise like this, 24. You would take and add 4 down here and 4 up here. That's it. So add another 4, another row up here and another row down here, and boom, you got a trivet. And that's it. And how I did this, after I cut them in half, I had some of these cardboard coasters. I just repurposed a cardboard coaster and glued them on top of there. But you can also get cork board that's cut already in coasters. So to craft on, you can put cork on top of cork, or you can buy it in a big sheet and cut it the size you want. Either way, but I just repurposed these cardboard ones that I had and glued them on top. And there you go. Easy peasy. Wine, cork, coasters. Hope you had fun. Maybe you'll make your own. Who knows? We'll see you next time. Bye.